All right, that was the strongest, the BP fund. The general, we're going to change to green energy, was the weakest. Let's now go to some of our astute Fox News analysts. First up, joining us from Wasilla, Alaska, former governor of that state, Sarah Palin. All right, did you have a big beef with the president tonight in any way, Governor?
I did. I kind of have a big beef with you too, though, Bill, if you don't acknowledge that President Obama is wrong.
Cripplefy!
On his call for a need for energy policy. Certainly we need that, but he is wrong not to acknowledge that we still need, on a three-legged stool, the conventional sources of energy to be drilled here. Otherwise, Bill, we are going to be dropped to our knees and bowing to the Saudis and Venezuela and places like Russia that will keep producing oil and petroleum products, and we will have to ask them to produce for us because we will still be dependent upon these sources of energy.
You have to admit that he's wrong, not about anything that he's doing necessarily, but just because he's wrong. Sarah Palin never made a fucking peep when George Bush was not getting our clean energy. He was doing all the oiling shit that he wanted. We've been taking in oil from other countries for decades, never had our own oil supply, enough of our own oil supply, and will never have enough of our own oil supply to take care of how much we actually use. We're gonna have to get it from somewhere else. Always, dummy. That's why going with clean energy is smarter than continuing to just chug along with this oil and drill, baby, drill. I'm a fucking retard.
In addition, though, to shifting more towards the renewables, which of course we need, and the other leg of that stool is conservation. President Obama, it scares me, it saddens me that the CEO of our nation does not understand that inherent link between the conventional sources of energy that we're dependent upon and our security, our prosperity, our freedom.
CEO of our country or our nation is not the way that you are meant to describe the president. He is the commander-in-chief. The CEO is a chief executive officer, which is a corporate term, a business term, not a political term, and certainly not, you know, the CEO of our country is not what the president is supposed to be. You understand? I understand that you guys want to run America like a business, but that business is getting run into the ground, so it's time to fucking change this shit up, okay? And I'm not even going to get into the three-legged stool bit where it's old energy, new energy, and conservation, because she doesn't care about new energy and she doesn't care about conservation. So instead of having the two legs to stand on, she'd rather just have the one. Let's go. Drill, baby, drill. What? It's a good thing they didn't let her go to fucking town in Alaska, because that whole state would have been covered in oil by now.
Okay, when you were the governor with oil companies all the time, what was the most difficult thing that you had to deal with when you were having meetings with them face to face?
Believing that their perception of what the circumstances were in any situation that we dealt with them, whether it be a spill or lax infrastructure maintenance or the value of the resource that was being sold, in any of those issues, it was believing what they were telling me and my administration in terms of their perspective on what the facts were.
So the bitch just admitted that the hardest part about dealing with oil companies is believing basically what they tell you or your administration. And yet, that is not enough to convince her that drilling without regulation is a bad thing. In fact, she supports continuing to drill while we have this spill going on. She wants to put the possibility of having two spills at once in the Gulf out there. She's like, yo, that's totally fine for us. Go capitalism. Are you fucking kidding me?
Now, here's where the problem lies with President Obama in waiting so long, 8 weeks before meeting with the CEO of BP and with the high-ranking officials that have been calling the shots. He has allowed this industry player to get to define the facts, so they are just in this position of having astronomical maximum liability exposure. He's allowed them to define the facts of this spill. You can never be allowed to do that as a CEO and be on a level playing field, being equals there at the table when you allow one side of the table, in this case BP, in dealing with this spill, to define the facts.
All right.
And what is it exactly that you think happens with less regulation and more drilling? Do you think the government is going to understand the facts more, or do you think they're just going to deal with what the CEOs of the oil companies tell them they want to hear? Huh? I mean, come the fuck on. You are so naive in your use of double standards and irony that it's entertaining. I swear that's why you're popular. It's your naivete in not understanding how you contradict yourself more than the goddamn Bible.
But 49%, according to a poll today we'll have later, 49% of Americans still want BP to run the show, and only 45% want the government to run the show. Just so most Americans aren't down with the Obama administration calling the shots. Now, that's dumb. President Obama basically is, as Charles Krauthammer pointed out, a dreamer. I mean, he wants, I think, good for the nation as far as energy is concerned. You made a very valid point. We can't throw the oil people under the bus. If we do that, our economy is going to tank totally.
Yeah, because our economy is based on BP. If BP were to, tank, then we'd all be fucked. So we better just let BP and everyone else drill to hell.
And if we spend billions of dollars on pie-in-the-sky stuff that doesn't work, we're gonna go bankrupt. So what is your solution here, Governor? What would you do tonight? Tell the nation tonight what you would have said, your main point in that speech. Go.
Stopping the gusher. That's the #1 priority of the nation.
But nobody knows how to do it.
We need to make sure that all technology is being thrown at this problem.
Nobody knows how to do it.
We haven't had that assurance that we haven't had the assurance by the president that that has been his top priority. Instead, what his top priority is, Bill, is cap and tax.
And tonight, I've returned from a trip to the Gulf Coast to speak with you about the battle we're waging against an oil spill that is assaulting our shores and our citizens.
You cunt. You're so full of misinformation and propaganda that it pisses me off. Fuck you. Here's me directly telling you, Sarah Palin, fuck you. I wouldn't let you suck my dick. I wouldn't drill you to fucking save the country. The president's top priority is obviously stopping the fucking oil leak. It is on the news every day, on every fucking channel. It's talked about everywhere. It is the biggest environmental disaster ever, and it's happening in our fucking waters, and it's affecting our fucking country, and I'm sure other countries as well. It's affecting our fucking citizens. Of course that's his top fucking priority, you dumb cunt. And for you to sit there and say otherwise is just plain fucking false. So fuck you.
It is using this crisis, not letting it go to waste, but to use this crisis to increase the costs of energy.
All right,
and
if that happens, there's going to be an outcry.
Any
but
kind of economic recovery that we have.
Are you telling me that you don't think the president's top priority is stopping that leak? Is that what you're telling me?
What I'm telling you is that is not what I am hearing and what the American public is hearing from the top official in our government. And that's why those poll numbers show that, no, the public, we don't know where to turn. If we can't trust BP to be able to fix this leak, we know we can't trust government because they've had 8 weeks of overseeing, of regulating, and coaching this whole process, this whole issue of stopping the leak, and they haven't succeeded in doing it.
Okay, so riddle me this, fucktard. If we can't trust BP to do it, and we can't trust the government to do it, then who the fuck is supposed to do it? Who's gonna do it, Sarah? You? The private citizens? The teabaggers? Actually, that's not a bad idea. I say we grab all the fucking teabaggers, take them down 5,000 fucking feet, shove their fat asses in the fucking holes. We're gonna take care of Medicare and the fucking oil spill both at the same time. Oh, and get rid of a retarded party. Holy shit, it's a win-win-win situation. You didn't think it could get any worse. Oh, but it does. What Sarah Palin has actually said is what we need is a miracle. What we need is divine intervention. And what we need to do is pray to get the oil leak stopped.
Okay.
So the people are very, very frustrated in this.
That's right.
We have to know that President Obama's #1 priority is to stop the leak.
I'm more convinced that it's Obama's top priority to stop the leak than I am that it's BP's top priority. Because that motherfucker just wants to get back to his life. He went on to watch his yacht sail around the fucking island, ooh, Richie douche. is not his top priority, but Sarah Palin don't care about him. Let's not bitch about the fucking CEO of BP, the one that's in charge that has no answers for the government, that doesn't want to help them at all. Forget all that. Blame Obama. Blame Obama. Blame Obama. And Bill O has actually had the balls to say that Democrats are blaming President Bush for the oil spill.
Blaming President Bush for the oil disaster, part 90.
Which is not the case. But that doesn't keep them from blaming Obama for the oil spill, which is still not the case. Doesn't make any fucking sense.